Don Schroeder.
And I'm Loretta Harris. Some sad news tonight for the religious and education communities. A woman who touched countless lives is dead. Sister Eileen Egan was killed today in a car accident. One admirer says not 10 people in Louisville had the resume that the former president of Spalding University had. Tonight, friends and colleagues alike remembered her. Chris Turner joins us with the story. Chris, what a remarkable woman.
Well, Loretta, Don, Sister Eileen Egan seemed to be one of the busiest people in Louisville. She was active in the Crusade for Children, the Boy Scouts, the Federal Reserve Bank, the Office for Women, the City Ethics Commission, various hospital boards, all on top of the job of transforming her alma mater, Spalding College, into Spalding University. Sister Eileen Egan died about 2:20 this afternoon at the scene of a wreck on Zorn Avenue near the VA hospital. Police say the car in which she was riding was broadsided by another vehicle.
This was an accident in its purest form, and that's how we would have to deem it, as just being an accident.
Sister Eileen Egan was 72 years old. She became Spalding University's president during lean financial times back in 1969, and she retired 25 years later in 1994, ever so active in the Sisters of Charity of Nazareth.
She took a small women's college and made it into a dynamic coeducational university.
And with a Catholic university in an inner city setting in such a small school, most of the flames go out. And she wouldn't let that happen. No money. What am I going to do? 25 years later, it's got a rip-roaring attendance increase.
Spalding's new student center is named for Sister Egan. Her office walls were covered with mementos of her service, with more than 30 community activities.
People often assume that becoming a sister, any kind of sister, but a sister of charity in her case, is a confining life. And she said with a big grin, she said, I've got a PhD, I've got a law degree, and I'm the president of a university. Does that sound confining?
But colleagues also remember Egan as a leader who called problems not problems, but teachable opportunities. She spoke about them in a 1993 Fox News at 10 interview.
The opportunity comes to those who are ready, and you never know who's looking to see if you're ready.
Archbishop Thomas Kelly calls Sister Egan a tremendous gift to the community. Funeral arrangements are incomplete tonight. And back to the accident today, just a moment. Neither of the drivers was hurt seriously today.
All right, thank you, Chris. Schools in Paducah are searching tonight for ways to keep the community's children safe.
The former president of Spalding University has been killed in a late afternoon traffic accident. It happened on Zorn Avenue. Sister Mary Eileen Egan was a passenger in this car, which turned into oncoming traffic on Zorn Avenue in front of the Veterans Hospital. The driver of the car was also injured. No charges have been filed against the other driver. Sister Egan was president emeritus at Spalding following her retirement. The coroner's office says she died of massive internal injuries. She was 72 years old.
The manhunt syndrome.
Sister Eileen Egan is being remembered tonight as an educator who was a shining example of teaching. The former president of Spalding University was killed earlier today in a traffic accident. Sister Egan was a passenger in this car when it turned into traffic while trying to enter the Veterans Hospital, and she died at the scene. Sister Egan retired back in 1994 after 25 years as Spalding president. The head of the Archdiocese of Louisville, Archbishop Thomas Kelly, said tonight in a statement, quote, "She was a tremendous gift to the local church and to Spalding, and a great exemplar of the teaching ministry of Jesus Christ." Sister Eileen Egan was 72.
Well, thank you from our newsroom tonight. And tonight here in Louisville, a nun dies in a car accident this afternoon. The coroner's office confirms that the victim is Sister Mary Eileen Egan. She is a former president of Spalding University. Police say the accident happened here at Zorn Avenue and Interstate 71 at around 2:30 this afternoon. Officers say Sister Egan and other nuns were in this blue sedan turning into the VA Medical Center. Investigators believe the driver did not realize that oncoming traffic also had the green light. Police say the sedan collided with a Jeep Cherokee. Sister Egan died at the scene. No one else was badly hurt. No charges are expected at this time. The case of a British The former president of Spalding University and well-known on WHAS television's moral side of the news died in a 3-car accident today. Sister Mary Eileen Egan was in the passenger seat of this blue sedan that was broadsided on Zorn Avenue this afternoon. Another sister traveling in the car had minor injuries. No one else was seriously hurt in the crash. No charges are expected. Aside from her work with Spalding University and on WHAS television, Sister Egan was also a longtime supporter of the WHAS Crusade for Children. She was 72 years old.
Not every... The former president of Spalding University, who often appeared on the moral side of the news on WHAS TV, died in a car accident today. Sister Mary Eileen Egan was the passenger in this blue sedan when it was broadsided on Zorn Avenue. Another sister traveling in the car with her had minor injuries. Aside from her work with Spalding University and on WHAS TV, Sister Egan was also a longtime supporter of the WHAS Crusade for Children. She was 72 years old.
Police tonight are...
Sister Eileen Egan is being remembered as an educator who was a shining example for teaching. The former president of Spalding University was killed early yesterday in a traffic accident. Sister Egan was a passenger in this car when it turned into traffic while trying to enter the Veterans Hospital. She died at the scene. Sister Egan retired in 1994 after 25 years at Spalding. The head of the Archdiocese of Louisville, Archbishop Thomas Kelly, said in a statement that she was a tremendous gift to the local church and to Spalding, and a great exemplar of the teaching ministry of Jesus Christ.
The Reverend Billy Graham.
Eileen Egan will certainly be missed, Tom. She turned Spalding University around.
Made big changes there, kind of combining with a couple other schools and get them on the right track.
Yeah.
Well, winter is getting back on
against Johnson in Indiana.
We now have funeral arrangements for Sister Eileen Egan. Services will be held on Monday in Louisville and in Nazareth, Kentucky. Sister Eileen was president of Spalding University for 25 years. She died in a car accident Wednesday afternoon. The university says visitation is set between 2 and 7 o'clock on Saturday at Barrett Nuss Funeral Home in Louisville, and again from 3 until 9 Sunday at St. Leonard Church on Zorn Avenue. The funeral will be Monday morning at 11 o'clock at St. Leonard, with burial at 3 at Nazareth, Kentucky. That is the home of the order which Sister Eileen served for more than 50 years.
It is halftime for Kentucky. All the victims had previous drug arrests. Kentuckiana is feeling a great loss tonight after the tragic death of Sister Eileen Egan.
A traffic accident claimed her life yesterday afternoon, but her legacy lives on. And as Rod Fauché reports, she'll be best remembered as a tireless educator.
Outside Spalding University, the flag flies at half-staff in memory of a great woman in school history, Sister Eileen Egan. Sister Eileen was president of the small Catholic college for 25 years. She saved it from near closure in the 60s and 70s and turned it into what it is today. The Leadership Center on campus is named for her. Sister Eileen was so focused on good education, she went back to school in 1981 and got a law degree from U of L. But Sister Eileen died Wednesday afternoon in a traffic crash. She was a passenger in this blue car when it was struck broadside on Zorn Avenue. She was killed instantly.
She probably would have liked this way to go. Nobody can pick how you're going to meet God, but I think Eileen probably would not have been patient with a dying process that was stretched out over time.
Not only will Sister Eileen Egan be remembered as a great educator, but also as a great civic leader and the numerous contributions she made to our community.
She just brought to the table, every time you invited her in, a perspective that was so broad, but so caring and so concerned about her fellow person that that kind of spirit being lost for our community is something that we'll have great difficulty filling that void.
Her real monument is not the building, it's the students. It's the students who come and go. And 50 years from now, when people walk through this campus and see students in the halls, that's her legacy. And that's the legacy of an educator.
Sister Eileen Egan was 72.
Visitation for Sister Eileen will be Saturday from 2 to 7 at the Barrett Nuz Funeral Home and Sunday from 3 to 9 at St. Leonard's Church, both in Louisville. Her funeral is Monday at 11 at St. Leonard's with burial at 3. Kentucky kids
had to follow up on it on the chance his claims were true. Sister Eileen Egan is being remembered as an educator who was a shining example of teaching. The former president of Spalding University was killed early yesterday morning in a traffic accident. Sister Egan was a passenger in a car involved in a wreck on Zorn Avenue. She died at the scene. Sister Egan retired in 1984 after 25 years as Spalding's president. The head of the Archdiocese of Louisville, Archbishop Thomas Kelly, said in a statement, quote, "She was a tremendous gift to the local church and to Spalding, and a great exemplar of the teaching ministry of Jesus Christ."
Al-Taib was shot and killed.
Wave Country is getting ready to say goodbye to Sister Eileen Egan. The former president of Spalding University was killed in a car accident Wednesday afternoon. Visitation is Saturday from 2 to 7 at Barrett Nuz Funeral Home. The funeral is Monday at 11 a.m. at St. Leonard Church on Zorn Avenue. Memorial gifts may go to Spalding University and the Missions of Sisters of Charity of Nazareth. This morning,
she guided Spalding University for 25 years. She was a tireless community leader. Her name was Sister Eileen Egan. This was visitation day for Sister Egan. She died Wednesday in a car accident in Louisville. Egan wore many hats. Among others, she had a law degree. The nun was 72 years old. Her funeral is scheduled for Monday. Paducah's annual
There's a final farewell for beloved Catholic educator Sister Eileen Egan.
Her funeral is going on right now at St. Leonard's Church. Rob Fauché is live there with more. Rob?
Well, Liz, John, the funeral for Sister Eileen Egan began just about an hour ago inside the sanctuary here at St. Leonard's Church. Ironically, just down the road from here on Zorn Avenue is the spot where Sister Eileen died in a tragic car accident last week. Now, today is not only a chance to mourn her death, but as one deacon put it, to also remember and celebrate and give thanks for her life. During her 72 years, she was involved with many things. The most important to her, though, was education. A visitation filled with friends and admirers, scrapbooks filled with pictures and memories. But Sister Eileen Egan's real legacy is Spalding University, which, if not for her, might not be here today. She served as president of the small Catholic college for an unprecedented 25 years. Because of her leadership, Spalding survived during the 60s and 70s when other small schools were going through hard times. The newest building on campus, the Leadership Center, is named for her.
Her real monument is not the building, it's the students. It's the students who come and go. And 50 years from now, when people walk through this campus and see students in the halls, that's her legacy. And that's the legacy of an educator.
But last Wednesday, the 72-year-old nun was killed instantly when the car she was riding in was smashed broadside on Zorn Avenue.
She probably would have liked this way to go. Nobody can pick how you're going to meet God, but I think Eileen probably would not have been patient with a dying process that was stretched out over time.
Sister Eileen was an educator, a civic leader, a role model. She was loved and now is missed. Sister Eileen Egan will be buried at the Sisters of Charity of Nazareth Mother House. That's in Nazareth, Kentucky, right near Bardstown. Now, the woman who was driving the car when Sister Eileen was killed was miraculously not seriously injured. In fact, right now, she's inside St. Leonard's Sanctuary saying goodbye to her dear friend. John, Liz, back to you.
Very sad day. A Bullitt County teacher has been in a final farewell for Sister Eileen Egan. She was laid to rest earlier this morning. She died last week in a tragic car accident on Zorn Avenue.
Still to come on Fox News at 10.
She had a spark and a vivaciousness that they'll be hard to replace.
The community says goodbye to Sister Eileen Egan. In Washington, there is a tug of war over...
Funeral services were held today for former Spalding University president, Sister Eileen Egan. After her funeral in St. Leonard Church, friends gathered for a luncheon in her memory. Sister Egan was president of Spalding University for 25 years and served on committees in her church. Friends say she would want them to go on.
Eileen would want that. You know, Eileen wanted a joyous, happy celebration. She was that kind of person. She enjoyed life to the fullest, both spiritually and here materially in terms of, you know, wanting people to have a good time.
Sister Egan was killed in a two-car accident last Tuesday. She was buried this afternoon in Nazareth, Kentucky. Sister Egan was 72 years old.
In tobacco...
weeks earlier. Hundreds of people packed St. Leonard's Catholic Church today to say goodbye to Sister Eileen Egan. Egan was president of Spalding University for 25 years. She died in a car accident last week. During the funeral mass, Archbishop Thomas Kelly called Egan a wise and funny doer. Friends say Sister Egan brought people together and she's going to be missed.
Eileen had a lot of energy, a lot of imagination, and a tremendous faith that if you worked for the good, things would happen, and things did.
The 72-year-old sister was a member of the Sisters of Charity of Nazareth. And mourners remembered another accident victim today at St. Leonard's Catholic Church. Sister Eileen Egan died in a car accident on Zorn Avenue last Wednesday. The 72-year-old Egan was president of Spalding University for 25 years. Friends remembered her as a visionary, a leader, and a community asset. Wave 3's Jim Mayer has more.
Every pew in St. Leonard's Catholic Church was filled, a tribute to Sister Eileen Egan. Energy, talent, and imagination all describe the longtime president of Spalding University. The president of Egan's order, the Sisters of Charity of Nazareth, remembered her fire in bringing people together.
When she got together with them, it seems as though life flowed and excitement happened, and she was a gatherer.
Egan built Spalding from a small girls' college into a university with doctorate programs, but her reach went much further. A listing of her career and community activities runs 6 pages. She was also a role model.
Long before many women were breaking through that glass ceiling, Sister Eileen had done it years before. And she was a model for many of us to say this is how you can do it and that it can be done.
Archbishop Thomas Kelly presided over the funeral. He says Sister Egan was a doer, even if the doing was simply tying his ceremonial cape.
The first time I put it on in the presence of Eileen, she just reached up and yanked the bow and started fixing it up.
Eileen Egan, says one friend, had a tremendous faith that if she worked for the good, things would happen, and they did. Jim Mayer, Wave 3 News.
And Sister Eileen Egan is buried at her order's mother house outside Bardstown. She was 72 years old.
Kentucky education officials are